One of the Psalms that I have been looking at for comfort and for encouragement is Psalm 31. We've been doing a Hebrew analysis of this great psalm, and it has to do with faith in the Lord at a time of persecution. The background, as we had stated before, is probably David and his fleeing from Saul, possibly 1 Samuel chapter 23, verse 25 and following. If that is the background, it can also speak to us in all of the different things that we may be going through even today, or that we are going through, I should say. In this text, he began by the prayer of faith to the Lord. And he speaks of the Lord as his rock, as his fortress, where he can hide, as it were, a rock of defense. And this is in the first 9 verses. He is describing the Lord's protection. And we looked at the Hebrew grammar, and that's what I'll continue to do in verse 10. So in verse 10 to 19, the psalmist sets forth his plight and what he is going through. And so we begin at verse 10 then. Haneni Adonai kitzarli, ashasha v'cha'as eini, nafshi uvitni. Be gracious to me, O Lord, for I am in distress. I am cramped, as it were. And you have set my eye wastes away in vexation. My soul also in my belly or my body. Notice grammatically, Haneni is from the root Hanan. It is a cow imperative, masculine singular, and the E is the pronominal suffix, first person singular. Notice, be gracious unto me. The root is Hanan, a double I-N root. So be gracious unto me, O Lord, kitzarli, for I am in distress. Notice, sar is from the root sarar, means to be cramped or to be in a narrow squeeze type place. And notice here we have a cow perfect, in this verb from sarar. So I am in distress. Then, as we move on in verse 10, he continues to describe how things are wasting away and what is happening. So following this cow perfect third masculine singular inside, we move on. Ashasha v'cha'as eini. That is, my eye wastes away in vexation. Notice ashasha is the verb from ashash, which means to waste away. It is a cow perfect third feminine singular from the root ashash, meaning to waste away. So notice he's describing the difficulty of the situation that he is in. Both my eye, my soul, and my body. In other words, what he's going through is affecting every part of him, affecting him spiritually as well as physically. His eye, looking no doubt at the inner part of his soul, and physically even his body. And so as he's going through this time, there is the mental and the physical in my understanding of what he's saying. And then we go on in verse 11. Ki chalu v'yagon chayai u'shenotai be'anacha kashal ba'avoni chochi be'atzamai asheshu. That is, for my life is spent in sorrow, and my years in sighing. My strength fails because of my iniquity, and my bones are wasting away. Notice key here is giving the cause of the suffering that he's going through in verse 10. My life is spent in sorrow. Notice chalu here is a verb, a perfect third common plural from kala. And so my life is spent in sorrow. And then he goes on to describe further the feeling that he is experiencing. My years in sighing, and my strength kashal, my strength fails, stumbles because of my iniquity. Notice kashal is the cow perfect third masculine singular from kashal, and my bones, atsamai asheshu, again from the verb ashash, to waste away, a cow perfect third common plural from ashash. And so he's looking at, again, the suffering, and he's admitting perhaps because of what has happened in my life and things that I have done, I'm experiencing this. But then he goes on to talk about his situation and how he seems to be going through this very lamentable time. Notice verse 12. Mikot sorarai hayiti cherpa velishcheni, excuse me, velishchenai meod ufachat lim yudai. Ro'ai bachutz nadadu mimeni. Notice, because of all of my adversaries. Notice sarar here is a cow participle, masculine plural from sarar, because of my adversaries with a pronominal suffix, first common singular. So because of all of my adversaries, I have become a reproach. Hayiti is from the root haya, to become, and it is a cow perfect first common singular from haya. I am become a reproach, and to my neighbors exceedingly, and a dread, ufachat lim yudai. Notice here we have a puel participle in meyudai, a puel participle plural from yada, and notice you have the mem prefix after the inseparable preposition, the lamed. We have a shava followed by a kibbutz and a dogish in the dalet, the second radical of the root, which was yada. By the way, historically, what we have here clearly is a puel, a stem, and the root historically goes back to vada, to know, but here the yod is appearing rather than the vav, and we have the shava kibbutz, which gives it away as a puel participial form with the mem prefix. So lim yu da I, and the I here is your pronominal suffix, first person singular on this plural participial form. Ro'ai those who see me on the outside. Notice ro'ai is from the root ra'ah, to see. It is a cow participle masculine singular from ra'ah, and the I is your pronominal suffix, first person singular. So those who see me on the outside, they flee from me. Notice nadadu is from the root nadad, to flee. It's the cow perfect, third common plural from nadad. So I'm like one that's running. And no doubt Saul is thinking of what's going on, or excuse me, David is thinking of what's going on with Saul in pursuit, trying to harm him. And we all go through times where we feel that the circumstances are falling heavy upon us. And this is what the psalmist is saying, but we know we have a rock, that is the Lord. And then he goes on in verse 13, Nishkachti kemet milev, hayiti kikli oved. I am forgotten. And notice shachach means to forget. And here we have a nifal, a perfect first common singular from shachach. Notice the noon prefix indicates that we're looking at a nifal stem. And I am forgotten as dead, like a dead man, out of mind, from mind. And notice mate here is from the root mot, which means to die. But here we have a cow participle, masculine singular, from that root. So I am forgotten as a dead man out of mind. I mean, people aren't even thinking of me. It's sort of like I've been forgotten, he's saying. Hayiti kikli oved. I am like a useless vessel. Hayiti again is your cow perfect, first common singular from haya. So I am as a vessel that is perishing. Oved from avad is a cow participle masculine singular from avad. So I'm like a vessel that's perishing. In other words, what he's saying here is nobody really cares about me. It's though I'm completely out of everybody's mind, and I feel like I am a vessel, like a perishing vessel, literally the Hebrew, that is being thrown away. That's the way I feel. And so he goes on, Ki shamati dibat rabim, magor, excuse me, misaviv, Behivasadam yachad alai lakachat nafshi zamamu. That is, for I have heard the whispering of many. Notice Ki is giving the cause as to why he feels like a useless vessel, and it's a cow perfect first common singular from Shama. I have heard the whispering of many. And here we have two nouns in construct, the bat and the rabim, or a noun followed by an adjective, I should say, and in construct. I have heard the whispering of many, tear on every side, magur misaviv. In other words, everywhere he turns, he feels that he sees a bad situation. Behivasadam yachad alai, while they take counsel against me. Notice behivasadam is from the root yasad, to take counsel. And here we have a nifal infinitive construct. Notice we have the hey prefix. We then have the I ahirik under the hey, and we have the doubling of the vav, which looks then at a nifal. Hin vasadam. In historical Hebrew grammar, the noon has assimilated by progressive revelation into the Vav. And so that's why we have a doggish forte in the Vav. So I have heard tear on every side while they take counsel together. Notice is your personal pronoun suffix in the plural, masculine plural. So a nifal infinitive construct showing a temporal kind of a clause, while this time they are taking counsel among themselves together against me. Lakachat nafshi, to take away my life. Notice lakachat is your cow infinitive construct from lakach. So to take away my life, they have devised. In other words, they're thinking of wanting to destroy me. Zamamu is from the root zamam, to think or devise. It's a cow perfect third common plural from zamam. But then he goes on and talks about, in spite of that, his trust in the Lord. And this is a beautiful section now. Notice verse 15. Va'ani alecha batachti Adonai, amarti Elohai ata. But I, as for me, I, upon you, I have trusted, O Lord. Notice batachti is from the root batach, to trust. It's the cow perfect, first person singular from batach. So I've trusted, O Lord, upon you. I said, you are my God. Amarti. Here we have another cow perfect, first common singular from amar with the T suffix, showing that we're looking at a first person common singular. So I said, you are my God. In other words, in spite of this plight, I'm trusting in you. I've said, you are my God. I trust in you, Lord. And then this is a beautiful verse, verse 16. Biyadcha itotai. That is, into your hands are my times. Notice itotai is from the noun eight, meaning time. Here we have a feminine plural in the od, and I is your pronominal suffix, first common singular. So into your hand are my times. My life is totally in your hands, Lord. Whatever happens, everything is under your control. What a soothing thought. And then he goes on, Hatsileni miyad oyavai umerodafai. That is, deliver me from the hand of my enemies and from those who persecute me. Notice, Hatsileni is from the root natsal. It's a pay noon verb, and the noon has assimilated historically into the sate by progressive assimilation. So Han Sileni becomes Hat Sileni with the doubling of the sate. And notice the hey prefix with the I thematic vowel pattern in the pathak and the hidak yod gives it away as a hifil imperative. So cause me to be delivered, Lord, he's saying, from my enemies. And notice oyev is a cow active participle, masculine plural, from oyev, and the I is your pronominal suffix, first common singular, added to that form. So deliver me from the hand of my enemies and from those who persecute me. Notice rodafai, may rodafai, the may here is your preposition from. And notice we have your O class vowel, showing that we're looking at a participle, at a cow participle, masculine plural from radaf, to persecute, followed by your pronominal suffix, first common singular, and the I. So deliver me from the hand of my enemies and from those who are seeking to persecute me. This is a beautiful verse 2. And what we have to do, the psalmist is saying, is go to the Lord. He is the one who delivers us from all of this, from struggles, from being in compressed places, he's saying. And then we go to verse 17. Ha'ira fanecha al abdecha. That is, make your face to shine upon your servant. Notice ha'ira is a hifil imperative, singular, masculine singular from or. So make your face to shine upon your servant. In other words, look favorably upon your servant. I need your, can I say, smile. I need your favor. Hoshieni v'chasdecha. Save me in your loving kindness. Cause me to be saved. Notice here, the root is yasa, lasha. And here we have a hifil imperative, masculine singular, with the pronominal suffix in the e and the hinge in the n, in the ain. And so what he's saying is save me or cause me to be saved. By the way, the root historically was vasha, a pay vav verb. And we're seeing, as we look at this hifil, historically what possibly happened in the historical development of the word, of the grammar, how shi'eni became hoshi'eni. That is, the A and the W, the vav, came together, forming a whole and vav. So that is why this hifil form looks different than often hifil forms look. When I first had Hebrew, I called that a weird kind of a hifil form. But later on, in my study of historical Hebrew grammar, I was taught that an AW historically changed to a colon vav. So save me in your loving kindness. In other words, Lord, I need your help. I need you to help me. I need you to save me. And then he talks about, let me not be ashamed. Adonai al evosha ki keraticha. Let me not be ashamed, for I have called upon you. And then let the wicked be ashamed. Yevoshu reshaim yedamu lesho. Let them be silenced in Sheol. In other words, what he's saying is, don't let me be ashamed, Lord. I need your help. I need you to help me out of this plight that I'm in. And notice here we have, O Lord, we have the vocative of address. Do not let me be ashamed. Notice avosha is from the root, the vosh, to be ashamed. And here we have the cow, do not let me be ashamed. The cow perfect, excuse me, the cow imperfect, first person singular from bosh, and it's a jussive form. So, O Lord, do not let me be ashamed. Cow imperfect, first person singular from bosh. O Lord, do not let me be ashamed, for I have called upon you. Notice karaticha is from kara, to call. It's the cow perfect first common singular from kara. And that T is that suffix that puts it into the first person. For I have called upon you. And then let the wicked be ashamed. Yevoshu. Here we have the same root, vosh, and we have the cow imperfect, third common or third masculine plural from Vosh, and then let them be put to silence in Sheol from Damam. Again, Cal imperfect double ayin root from Damam, third person plural. And I think the thought here is he just wants the Lord to help him. And he doesn't want to be ashamed. He needs the Lord's help. He's trusted him and he does not want any kind of shame. And by the way, the two verbs used here are all jussives in this context here. In other words, let the wicked be ashamed and so forth. And yidmu, let them be silenced. So those are jussive forms as well. Cal imperfect, third plural, masculine plural, from damam and from vosh, to be ashamed. So what he's praying here, he's presenting his plight and he's asking the Lord to help him. And when I look at this, what encourages me so much is that we have to trust in the Lord. In other words, I have trusted in you, O Lord, and my times are in your hand. And so deliver me. And I think we all can identify with that. And I am a Christian minister, and to me, as a minister of the New Testament and of Jesus Christ, I have to bring New Testament application in what I do. And that is that I see Jesus Christ as the great deliverer, as a Christian for me. I look at the New Testament and Jesus said that, lo, I am with you always, even unto the end of the age. And when we have our faith in Christ, Paul would write that nothing can ever sever us from the love of God, which is in Jesus Christ our Lord. And so I get encouragement as a Christian and as a Christian minister when I read a psalm like this and see it for me as well in relationship to the New Testament and to Jesus Christ. Thank you for listening to this grammatical analysis.